Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Barak Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, salvation to the elect, peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers that's spreading this truth, that's doing the work. We got to repent for our sins, follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's get straight into it. So today, the Spirit put on me to talk about some of the brothers in prisons. I know my last video I was talking about some of the judgment coming on brothers, and brothers being put in prison because of the judgment, because of not following law, statute, commandments. But there must be a balance with everything. So even still, hey, give me a second right quick. Turn off this law air conditioner. It's a lot. Turn that off. Turn that off real quick. All right, I'm back, brothers. So yeah, a lot of brothers have that judgment coming on them, and they've been put in prison, and that is their judgment. But at the same time, there must be a balance with everything. So at the same time, there's also been a lot of righteous brothers that are been in prison, because the Lord did say his people will be in prison. So yes, even some of the elect, it's not my place to say it, just aspiring to be a prophet. Hopefully my name is called to be a prophet, and I could play my part however big or however little it is. The Spirit is bringing me out to say that some of the elect could be in prison houses. Some of those men in them prison houses are righteous. Some of those men in those prison houses are following the law, statutes, and commandments, keeping up this word, helping sending those prayers up to the Lord. Some of the Lord elect, some of the Lord chosen people or in the prison house. All of his chosen people are in the prison house. We make up 90% of the prison houses, but some of the elect is in there too. So just because a man is in prison, don't just give up on him. Don't just turn your back on him. We can't turn our back. We got to remember those men too, because you got to think about it. Majority of our men, of our soldiers, are in prison houses. So we got to reach out to them too, however we can. You know, we teach brothers on the highways, byways, on the streets. We use this YouTube stuff to get all around the world and teach brothers. But at the same time, we got to get it in the prison houses too, because there's a lot of brothers, a lot of strong brothers, a lot of righteous brothers that are in prison that's been wrongfully convicted, or if they have been convicted for a sin or anything, or not for a sin, but for breaking one of Esau laws. That don't mean that they're not following law, statutes, commandments of the Lord. You see, two different things. Brothers might be put in prison houses for not paying child support. That don't mean that he's not following law, statutes, commandments, because he ain't pay his child support. He broke one of Esau rules, you know. So we got to keep faith for them and don't forget about them, because most of the time they're forgetting. But you got to remember, a lot of brothers, when they go to prison, they get into the Bible and they study it, sleep it, eat it. Every single day they getting meat, they getting truth from this Bible. And they more in truth than a lot of brothers on the outside, because they got less distractions, more time, more downtime to sit here and study his Bible. So let's not forget about those brothers. Some of them are in there because the Lord put them in there for their judgment. Some of them are in there, but some of them are going to get out. And some of them are the elect. So let's go through some scriptures just to back it up. There's many scriptures to all the videos I bring out. I'll bring out a couple. For me to bring out these couple is just a wake you up. It's a cover for you to go in the Bible and go get the rest of them. You see what I'm saying? Let's start with Isaiah 40, chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hidden in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivered, for a spoil, and none say restore. So they say prison is supposed to restore you. The Lord is telling you, no, it doesn't. And we are hid in holes in prison houses. His people, that's our people. We are hidden in holes in prison houses, not just African American, alleged so-called African American people, because we're really Israelites from the tribe of Judah, but also Issachar, also Gad. All the tribes are in prison houses, but that don't mean that they're not righteous and they not following the Lord. See, let's keep going. Let's jump to let's stay in Isaiah and jump to Isaiah chapter 61 verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord Yahweh is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek, and he has sent me to bind up the brethren, to proclaim liberty to the captives, that's prison, your captives, and openings of the prisons to them that are bound. So That's what's gonna happen. Like, that brought the spirit on me because that hit me. I got a lot of family in prison, a lot of brothers in prison, a lot of family, cousins, uncles. I mean, my whole family. Let's just say that my whole family is in prison, and they all go back to back to back. Some of them is judgment for them not following law, statutes, and commandments. That's true, but some of them ain't. And this is what it's saying. Those prison houses, you wondering what's going to happen to those men in prison when all hell breaks loose? The doors are going to be open. Some way, somehow, maybe a great earthquake or a missile might strike and knock a hole in the wall, or anything. The guards might just open it. The prisoners might take over and break loose. But when all hell breaks loose and there's purge on the street, Jacob's trouble happening, those prisoners, they gonna try to kill a lot of them. I don't put that past Esau. Of course they is. But a lot of those captives, and the doors of the prison houses are going to be open for the ones that's bound in there are going to be let loose. The elect that's not proclaimed, that's not they lot is not set to die. They lot is set to live and be beaten up in those chariots. They're going to be let loose some way, somehow. They're going to get out those prisons, even if a chariot got to come break them out and break a hole in the wall with a lightning bolt, whatever it is going to do to save them. But the elect ones that's in there, they're going to get out. Those doors are going to be open. That's Isaiah chapter 61 verse 1. Proof right there in the Bible, man. Everything's in the Bible. Let's jump over to Matthews. This is also in Mark. I was just reading it. But Matthews chapter 14. Let's start from verse 3. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her, because he wanted his brother's wife. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. So he was a just man. That's what it's saying, Mark. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias, danced before him and pleased Herod. So she was dancing, twerking in front of him. He liked what he seen. You see what I'm saying? Pleased her. At first he didn't want to do it, but that lust got him. He had to do it, right? Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. I mean, come on, man. That's a dude in a strip club, man. You so beautiful, I'll give you whatever you want. You know what I mean? And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head and a charger. Which they were just hating, because he was bringing out the truth, like we bring out the truth, and many people hate and scoff up against the truth. And he was bringing out the truth, and it was cutting them. They was getting cut by the truth, and they wanted to be with each other and stuff like that. And he was like, man, that's not lawful. That's not right. And they were scared at first, because they knew he was a prophet, a just man. But that lust take over. And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. So he gave her what he want, because he said he'd give her anything she want. Verse 10. And he sent and beheaded John in prison. Cut John's head off. That dirty man. Look. Anyways, cut John's heads off, beheaded him. A lot of men gonna be beheaded, but they gonna get what's coming back to them. And his head, they took the man's head, was brought in a charger, like a plate or something like that, and given to the dismissal, and she brought it to her mother. Man, they passing the man John's head around. John the Baptist, right? They passing his head around. Cut his head, gave it to the woman. She showed it to her mom. And the disciples came and took up the body and buried it and went and told Yahushua. So this is what they did. They cut the man's head off, showed it around to everybody, passing it around on a charger on like a plate or like a cage or something like that, and buried his body. And then they went and told Yahushua, yo, he cut his head off. And when Yahushua heard of it, he departed this by ship into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the city. So he got out of there. And that's a cut to a lot of brothers saying, oh, if you got if these Edomites are coming upon you, you got to sit there and take it, and you got to sit in America and take it. But the Lord is going to deliver Israelites and the elect from all over the world, man. So it don't matter where you run to in the world. You could leave America, man. You don't have to stay in America. You could leave America because salvation is going on throughout all the whole world, because we scatter amongst the whole world. So there's nothing that say you have to stay in America and be delivered from there, man. If there's great judgment from Edomites coming upon you and it's unjust and it's not judgment coming from the Lord, man, if you got to get out of there, get out of there, man. That's just for me. That's just what the Spirit bringing out of me. Get out of there. I got out of there. Sometimes you got to get out of there. Sometimes for you to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you got to get out of there. But man, you might want to go to another place where things are a little bit different, so it's easier for you to follow the Lord. There ain't nothing wrong with that, as long as your heart is trying to follow the law, statutes, commandments, and teach other brothers to follow it, period. And you had to get out of there, because the Lord himself, he heard what happened to John the Baptist. He knew they was going to come do it to him too, but that wasn't his lot. That wasn't his time. That wasn't how he was supposed to go out. And he got out of there. He still had work to be done. He got up out of there. And a lot of more people follow him too. He went to a desert place. He got up out of there, but that's not what it's about. Let's keep moving forward. Let's go to Luke 21, chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down by Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So this is another prophecy, like we were led away by captive, like prisoners. We are led away as prisoners into all nations. So a lot of the Lord's people is in these jailhouses. You can't forget about them no matter what. You still gotta, it's this word still gotta touch them, which it is touching a lot of them. They know what's going on. The Lord done woke up some of them in there, and they teaching other brothers, and the word spreading in some of these different jailhouses. Acts chapter 16, we're gonna go verse 22 through 26 through 28. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prisons were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's bands were loose. Remember I said maybe a great earthquake might come and unlock those doors or break down the prison, and some brothers might get out, or maybe a missile or a nuke might hit close by and rattle the jailhouse and shake open some doors, or break it loose, or destroy it completely, and some brothers might survive and get out of there. But this is what this is saying. Suddenly a great earthquake, we don't know what caused the earthquake, so that the foundation of the prisons were shaking. It was shaking, like I just said. Immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's bands were loose. So a lot of those brothers gonna get out. They not gonna die in there, period. And the keeper of the prison, awakened out of his sleep, and seeing the prison doors open, drew out his sword and had killed himself. He wasn't thinking about killing them, because there was no way that was gonna happen. He was going to get utterly destroyed by some of them brothers, because some of them brothers are strong. Some of them brothers are warriors, soldiers. They might be the strongest ones out of all of us, to tell the truth, except for the prophets. Supposing that the prisoners had been fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice, saying, Do thyself no harm, for we are all here. But that's a whole different story. But the point is that the prison house is open, and the chains were let loose. And the man was going to kill himself, because he knew it was time. All those people wanted to get back at him. You know what I mean? Probably an Edomite. All the men wanted to get back at him for the way they been treating them in there. So you knew it was time. See what I'm saying? So a lot of brothers going to get out of there. Every brother ain't going to die in those prison houses. Don't forget about the men in the prison houses. Remember them. Actually, our next verse actually leads us into that perfect. That's a perfect segue, right? So Hebrews chapter 13, verse 3. Remember them that are in bonds, as bonds with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourself also in the body. So, see, we are prisoners of our body. So remember those who are in bonds, but the word for it is really prisoners. Remember them that are prisoners, because that's what being in bonds is you a prisoner. As bonds with them, and then which suffer adversity. You go through different adversity in life. Child support, lay on child support, they put you in jail. You got a warrant out, some type of traffic violation that can end you up in jail, one night, protecting yourself, but somebody lied on you, a woman lied and said you raped her, a dude, you got caught up in some type of drug mess, the police put drugs on you. That's adversity. That's different adversity that brothers got to go through, that brothers get put up in prison for. You see what I'm saying? But this Hebrews chapter 13 verse 3 says, remember them that's in prisons. You see, remember them that's in bounds. Don't forget about those brothers. That's all I'm saying. Don't forget about those brothers. Some of those brothers are elect. Some of those brothers are great warriors and great, and they serve the Most High very well. Some of them brothers might be prophets. Don't forget about them that suffer the adversity that's in prisons, because it's the same thing with us being in our body. We prisoners to our bodies. When we get beamed up, when we get changed in a split second, we ain't gonna have these human bodies no more. We ain't gonna be prisoners to the bodies. You see what I'm saying? We gonna be able to do what the birds do. We gonna be able to fly. We gonna be able to not sin, because it's going to be wrote in our hearts. It's going to be easier to do it with those bodies. We're going to be perfect with not sinning in the kingdom. We're going to be able to do different things. Only the mind could imagine, but you still won't even get close to understanding what we're going to be able to do in those different bodies. We ain't going to die no more. That's one big thing. Forever life. You see what I'm saying? Because we got those new bodies. We prisoners to our bodies, and men are prisoners just literally in America and around the whole world. Don't forget them. You know, salvation to the elect. And remember the prisoners. And, you know, keep doing this work in truth. And, you know, peace and blessings to all the brothers doing this work in the truth. Right? How about Sharon Shai? How about Sharon Shai? Salvation to the elect.